All right, everybody. I don't know if you guys want to look at my ugly face, but so I don't want to scare nobody away. Like, ah. How's everybody? Let's see who's on right now. I think Calvin canceled his training tomorrow, so. Today we're going to go over a little bit of brokers, dealing with brokers, calling brokers. We might do a couple of sample. I'm going to do 3 equipment types. The main equipment types that we usually move the freight in, which is the dry vans, the 53-foot dry vans.
Kendra.
Hey, Kendra. The 53-foot dry vans, the 48 to 53-foot flatbeds, and the 53-foot reefers. So go ahead and go to we can kind of like do a lot of things in all-in-one, all-inclusive kind of thing where we go out. We'll pick one of the equipment types, like a dry van. We'll go out to the load board, just call up a mush fake load, just, practice navigating the load board, finding a load for a driver based off of a profile. We can either do one that we create, or we can do one for one of you guys as carriers of that specific equipment type. So we can either do a creative one or make it even more realistic. If you got a carrier who has the equipment type for the example that we want to do when we call a broker, so we're not going to book the load, we'll just call the broker to get the lingo and how to talk to the broker and get that understanding of, what do you say, kind of go over that again. So let me ask this first before we start on that. We got 7 people in here. Does anyone, hey, what's up, Tayshawn?
What's up, man? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah.
Welcome to Freight Broker 101 as well, too. You joined the Freight Broker 101 coming in March 1st. That is, I just had a conference call last night at 7. That was about an hour-long conference call with some brokers that I'm partnered with. Who will, at least one, consider after you guys go. Freight Broker 101, let me just a little sidebar here. Freight Broker 101 is ongoing like Dispatcher 101, but it teaches you how to be a freight broker, or at least a freight broker agent, so you learn that skill set. So my advice is for someone who's just starting Freight Broker 101 is to work up under a brokerage as an agent, get that experience, build a book of business, which a book of business is just your list of clients, shippers that you've gotten under contract with the brokerage. And then when you're ready to branch off and form your own brokerage, you can either take your book of business with you, all of it, or a percentage of it, depending on the type of agreement you had with the broker when you signed up with them as an agent, and then do your own thing. So it's good because you learn the process, you learn how to talk to shippers, you learn how to get them under contract, get the load tenders, build the rate confirmation, send the rate confirmation to the carrier, book loads, things like that, all the back end stuff that's involved in that. So, and it's from a very basic perspective. The first March 1st class is going to be in the evening, 6 to 8 p.m., but I'm probably going to change the time. Instead of one day a week, I might have it Tuesday, Thursdays from like the same time that I have dispatching training on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 11 to 1. I might have freight broker training 101 on Tuesday, Thursday from 11 to 1. That's a good time because we can actually call shippers live, talk to them, either get them to say, yeah, send me over a shipper packet, or no, we're not doing brokers right now. But the reason for the live part is because I want you to hear and get a technique down for yourself and your potential business eventually when you start your brokerage. How to talk to shippers, what to say, what not to say, things like that. And then I'll show you samples of rate confirmations, samples of shipper broker packets, samples of broker carrier packets, a TMS system, transportation management system, things like that. So that's sidebar. I don't want to go too much into it, but that's Freight Broker 101 training for beginners. So but back to Dispatcher 101 training for beginners today, If there are any dispatchers here who have either a carrier with a 53-foot dry van, a 48 to 53-foot flatbed, or a 53-foot reefer, I would like to use your carrier and their MC as an example, so when we call a broker, so we can get the lingo of how to handle the different special requirements and things like that for those equipment types. So if there is anyone here who has, and if not, I'll just use one of my carriers in each of those equipment types as an example, so I can show you guys on the phone with a broker live what to say, what the special requirements are for the load. We'll go through the load board and look at the load details, see what's missing, so when we call the broker, we'll use our cheat sheet and say, okay, well, we need to ask these other questions to get those blanks filled in, so when we go back to our carrier and let them know this is all the load details for this load, then the carrier can make an informed decision. So that's real dispatching right there. So you want to make sure that you communicate with your carrier so they can have an informed decision, because you don't want to give them misinformation. You may tell them about a certain load, but you neglect to mention, like if it's a flatbed load, you neglect to mention that it was, oversized or over width. Your carrier gets there with a flatbed, a 48-foot flatbed, 48 by 102, but they're saying this load is 11 feet wide, so you need flags, you need pilot cars, you need an escort. Well, we say, wait a minute, we booked this load, it wasn't a wide load. Well, yes, it was. You didn't get enough details from the broker as a dispatcher, so you want to make sure that there's no miscommunication. So is there anyone who has a dry van carrier or a flatbed carrier, 48 to 53-foot flatbed, not a hot shot, and a reefer that we can use as an example? Hey, William. No one, there's 12 people, 11 people in here. No one has a carrier under agreement yet? So everybody in here does not have a carrier under agreement. Hold on 1 second, I need to take this call. You guys can hear this too. What's going on, Danny? What? When was that? Today?
Yeah. I put my 2-week notice in last Wednesday, but I left a week early. I was like, I'm not going to show up for the week. Kevin's more an asshole.
Right. So we really need to meet then. You and your guy, are you guys still going to do your thing?
I'm still working on that.
Yeah.
Get some brokerage. You're still working on your brokerage, right?
Well, I'm in the middle of dispatching training right now as we speak. You're in the training right now. And then I got dispatcher one-on-one training and freight broker one-on-one training. So I teach people how to be freight brokers and things like that. So yeah, I mean, we really need to sit down and discuss how we're gonna because you got access to shippers in the Virginia area. I got access to a shipper list that we can look through and see if we can go after these shippers to get them under the brokerage.
Yeah, so I got a meeting with that guy Monday. So Monday I'll give you a call and see what maybe we can meet up a time and sit down with you and all that stuff. See what we can maybe do like a partnership or something.
Yeah, because you guys
your way and you go business my way or something like that.
Yeah, because are you guys acting in the capacity of a freight forwarding, or are you guys going to be a brokerage?
So it's essentially a competitor to Kevin.
Okay.
It's a competitor to Kevin. Carded, dry van. We want to get in the flatbed. We want to get into brokerage. We want to get into like line hauls and stuff like that. So.
Right. So like a brokerage. See, I got access to carriers and dispatchers who have dry vans, flatbeds, reefers, hot shots. I want to you got straight trucks. Well, you're familiar with straight trucks. A lot of people come to me about straight trucks. If we can get LTL freight, I got a lot of people who got straight trucks.
Yeah, so we're definitely, let's sit down. I got to sit down with him on Monday, work out some details, and, I'll see, I'll throw your name in there and see what, maybe they want me with you. We'll go business your way, you go business our way, we'll, help each other out.
Yeah, because we want to see See what we got to offer. Because this area is getting ready to get big. You know they just opened that IKEA over there in Norfolk.
Yeah.
So I've been looking at that. That's huge. So, okay. And then they got the Amazon in Northern Virginia. So.
But yeah, I'll let you know Monday. All right, buddy?
Okay, man. I'll talk to you. All right. Okay, so that was Danny. I used to drive straight trucks for 10 years for that company. He was a logistics manager over there. I guess he just left the company. So, so that's all about relationships too. By the way, once you always want to keep the door open. You never want to burn bridges with relationships because you never know what type of business will come your way. So that could be an opportunity right there. He's getting ready to open up a brokerage and a freight forwarding company. A freight forwarder is someone who takes the load from the shippers, they hold it in their warehouse, they'll warehouse it for a while for a fee, and then ship it out at a later date. So they cross-dock those loads, and then for the shipper, hold them. So they charge for that service, they charge for holding it in the warehouse, and they charge for brokering it out onto different equipment types. So that's what freight forwarding is. So if you have the capacity to buy a big warehouse, like a 12,000, 20,000 square foot warehouse, and the ability to have loading docks with it and store freight in there, especially dry goods, you can be a freight forwarder. So Kendra says, I have a reefer driver with 53 foot, but he's only running for a month. Wow. Okay, Kendra, can you unmute yourself? I just want to use him as an example, like, his MC, we could look his MC up just to see, and then go to the load board and practice a scenario based on where he is on the profile and where he wants to go, navigate the load board, get that experience with that, and then call the broker live. Okay, I will. There you go.
Okay, can you hear me, Josh?
Yeah, I can hear you now, Kendra. Yeah.
He's not, he's only been driving a month, so he's not really registered with a lot of brokers.
Okay, yeah, so he's going to have a hard time. He's going to, the situation with that, and that's a good point that you made, if you get carriers whose MCs are like 90 days or less, it's going to be a greater challenge for you dispatchers to find loads for them because most brokers who are contracted with the brokers' customers are the shippers. The shipper sells the loads to the brokers. So one of the requirements of the shippers is saying, okay, well, I need carriers whose MCs who've been running for at least a year, at least 6 months, even at least 90 days. Now, there are some brokers who have the ability to bypass that requirement, but what they require from you or your carrier is that your carrier will have to prove to them that they've ran 3 loads successfully within the last month or 2 months. And what does successful mean? A successful load means that it was delivered on time, there was no damaged freight, and there were no claims filed against the carrier. So that's what successful means. So if you can provide them like copies of a rate confirmation of a load that was ran successful, and they're going to check, they're going to call the broker that you ran that load for, your carrier, and confirm, okay, here's the PO number, here's the load number. Did that carrier deliver on time? Was it a good load? They'll say, yeah, it was fine. So if those 3 examples pan out, then they'll let that carrier through. So what is his, do you want to give us his MC number? We can look up a load for him as an example and then call the broker as an example. And because they're going to look his MC number up and they'll probably either tell you, yeah, he hasn't been running for a long time, or they might let it through. But at least we'll get to hear the different responses so you guys will know what to expect. And it'll confirm what I've been telling you, what I just told you. So.
Well, I wonder if I should ask him first or. I'm putting all his business on.
Right, get his permission. That's a good point. If you're not comfortable with it, I'll tell you what, I'll use one of mine for the reefer. So let's start with a reefer. Yeah, so when I ask you guys for your carrier's information to use as a sample here, let's make sure that it's cool with them to have the permission, because it's the same as me asking you, does anyone have a carrier that you need to find a load for? And you say, yeah, I'm going to ask you for the MC number anyway because we're going to look him up and call the broker, and the broker is going to ask for the MC number. So it's the same thing. So if he's not in that place where he's comfortable with you finding a load for him or even looking at the MC up, then we won't go with him. So I'll use my guy's MC number for his as an example for the reefer today. Okay, so let's go to and we'll go through the website. Dispatcher 101 training for beginners. If there are guests in here, welcome. Guests. It doesn't seem like everybody seems to be a member. Oh, there's William. Hey, William. Okay, so load boards. And for those who are not members, you're not going to have access to this area. For those who are, you obviously, if you are a member and you haven't logged in and created a login and sign up to have access to the website, go ahead and do that. Let me log in here. So we're going to use one of our load boards in the back office. Let's use Internet Truck Stop. So in Dispatcher 101 Training for Beginners back office area under the load boards section, of course, there's the YouTube video explaining that specific section, just like every other section. And then I'll use Internet Truck Stop. So you can either click the image to call up another screen for the login, or you can click the button with the login information. So I'll click this. It's going to take us to another screen. The login credentials are already there. I'll go ahead and hit login. And we're doing reefer right now. So I know my guy is based out of Philadelphia. I know he's having repairs done on his truck right now, so he's really not ready to run. But I just want to use him as an example. So when we look for a load for him, and then we call the broker, we can get into that process of, speaking of which, let's go ahead and go to Forms and Documents, and right here, and pull up our cheat sheet so we can have at our disposal when the cheat sheet load details. I'll do the PDF of it. It'll open up right here. So some of the questions that we were asked if it's not posted in the load details in the posting of the load on the load board. Okay? So I know he's from Philadelphia. And are there any questions so far what I'm doing at this point? And I'll leave this blank so he can go anywhere. We'll call up the calculator because we're going to need that to figure out our cents per mile. So here go one. Let's do this high one. And this is today. So from Totowa, New Jersey, which is 82 miles. That's how you read this. Let's do this first line. Pyramid is the brokerage company. This is their phone number. The trailer type is a reefer. The age of the load has been in there an hour and 59 minutes, almost 2 hours. The mode of the truck it's a truck load. TL means truck load. Pickup is today, which is the 22nd. The pickup city is in Totowa. The state is New Jersey, which is 82 miles deadhead from Philadelphia, where we originated this search. Okay, that's how you read that. It's within a 100-mile deadhead. It's 82, so that's within 100 miles. Okay? And its destination is getting delivered to, so the shipper is out of Totowa, the receiver is going to be out of Stockton, California. Okay? And the rate is $6,500. It doesn't say a weight or a length, but it does have the loaded miles. So,
but he'll go anywhere.
All right.
So give me 2 different cents per mile, guys. You can either unmute yourself and tell me, or put it into the chat here. So in 1 cent per mile, okay, Lita said $2.28, $3. So those numbers, Lita and Gwen, $228 or $3, are you including or not including the deadhead, the 82-mile deadhead? Are you adding the 82-mile deadhead with the loaded miles and then dividing that into the 6,500, or how are you doing that? Because there's two ways. You can do it without the deadhead since it's under 100 miles, or 82 miles, that's a good hour. If you're doing 65 miles an hour, that's an hour in about 15, 20 minutes. So that's gas. So I may want to add this 82 deadhead with the 2858. So, okay, they say not. Okay, so Gwen included it. Lita did not include it. So let's include it. Let's include it for the sake of argument. So if what I do, if it's 50 miles deadhead or less, I wouldn't include it because that's less than an hour. But if it's over that, then I'll include it. So let's include that in there. For those who don't know how to figure this out, we'll go ahead and do it before we proceed to the broker. So what is it? 82 miles plus the deadhead 2858. So that's 2940. So we got a total of 2940 with the loaded and deadhead. So we're going to divide that into the 6,500, which is the rate that they're charging or paying. So $2.21 a mile. Now, also, mind you, this is a reefer load, so some of the questions you're going to ask the broker is how many stops. But let's open it up. Let's open up this load and get the load details before we even consider what questions we're going to ask. So the two columns in here, of course, is the load detail columns that I look at, and then the posting company column, which is the brokerage. They're online right now. They're currently open because it's like 11 o'clock in the morning. So yeah. So this is their contact information. This is who you call. Sometimes they'll have an extension down here on the special instructions. So this is frozen shellfish. They may need some kind of special shellfish, what is that? Certification or some kind of certificate to run shellfish, but we'll ask that. So it picks up today and it delivers the first, which is next. So today and it delivers next Friday. So that's a week. So if I look at my calendar, picks up today and delivers a week later. So you're saying it's going to take 2,940 miles to drive, a week to drive that. That's more than enough time to deliver at. So my question is, with all that time, I'm to assume that it's going to have more than one stop on that load. Hey, Adam. So the load details here, we are discussing the three different equipment types, Adam. Just for review, I'm going to call brokers live on three different equipment types. Right now I'm working on reefers. We're going through the load details before we call the brokers, so we'll know what types of questions to ask. This is as an example for you. So if you have a carrier with an equipment type of a reefer, or if you have a carrier with an equipment type of a dry van, or if you have a carrier with an equipment type of a flatbed, 48-foot flatbed or 53-foot flatbed, what are some of the types of questions you're going to ask the broker as far as getting load details, so when you communicate back to your carrier, you'll have all the necessary information for him or her so she can make a decision whether he or she can run that load. Okay? So right now we're on the first example, which is the reefer. Okay? So load details. So we got the pickup date. We don't have times though, so you want to ask for pickup dates and times. How many stops is it? Like one pick? Because it's a reefer load, so is it one pick, two picks, three drops, one pick, five drops, things like that. We know the commodity already, what's being hauled. Frozen foods is actually frozen shellfish. So with reefers, you're going to ask, what's the pre-cool temperature? Whether it's 0 degrees, -5, -10, and whether or not that needs to be ran continuously while the load is being ran. So, okay, so let's call Michael W. or whoever this is and see.
extension, please dial it now. Or for a dial by name directory, press star. If you do not know your party's extension, please choose from the following options. Dial 2 for accounting. Dial 3 for a truckload division. Dial 4 for shipments out of Los Angeles. Dial 5 for shipments out of Seattle. Dial 6 for East Coast to Midwest. Dial 7 for East Coast to Southeast. Dial 8 for East Coast to Southwest. Dial 9 for East Coast to West Coast. Or press 0 for the operator.
I'm going to dial 9 for East Coast to West Coast because we're going from Jersey to California. So I was going to dial 3 for the trucking division. But
Here it is, Sam.
hey, Sam, I'm looking at a reefer load from Ottawa, New Jersey to Stockton, California today. Is that still available?
Let me get your proper dispatcher.
Unit transport.
See what I did? I asked if that load is still available. That's step number 1. And that's in any equipment type. Is the load. Hey, how you doing? This is Michael?
No, this is Brooks.
Okay, I'm looking at a reefer load today going from Ottawa, New Jersey over to Stockton, California. Is that still available?
It's multiple picks and multiple drops.
Yeah, I need the load details so I can let my carrier know before he decides. So how many picks and how many drops?
3 pickups and 6 drops.
Okay, and then what's the pre-cool temperature on that? Is it continuous?
It's just frozen stop and start. I mean, keep it at 0.
Okay, just keep it at 0 while you're running. And 6,500, 3 picks, 6 stops, and 65 is the best you can do for that?
Yeah, I might can get you another $100 or so, but that's going to be about the tops.
67. I'll run 67 by him. 3 picks. Okay. And it's out for a week. So this is Charles. I dispatched the Loyal Breed. I can give you the MC number if you like.
Sure, good.
078-314.
Yep. Okay, all right, give him a shout and give me a call back.
Okay, what's the pickup time for the first pickup in Jersey? I know it's today, but what time? He's empty right now over in outside of Philly, so he's close to you guys, like 50 miles. So.
Yeah, he's good. Is it till 4 or 5 o'clock?
I was say if it's FCFS, first come first serve, 24-hour ship or something like that, but good till 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
All right.
Yep.
Thanks.
Okay, guys, that's a reefer load. So, what do you think? I said some things to him too, FCFS and 24-hour shipper. So, any comments on that with that broker? Anybody unmute yourself and chime in? Because you guys are going to experience this if you get a reefer carrier. So you need to have a familiarity with, some of the things that are said to, on reefer loads. So any comments on that experience with that broker? Now, it has 3 picks and 6 drops. There's no way in hell that I would send my carrier.
Hey, Charles.
Yeah.
Hey, that's what I was going to ask. Because he said you go to like 65 and all those picks and drops was at a good price. Or how much would we look at for something like that?
So you got 9 stops total. It depends. I didn't go into detail with it. I should have so you guys can hear even more because I needed to know how close those picks and drops are to determine how many miles my carrier is driving. Because with every stop, with every pick and every stop, you want to factor in the amount of time that carrier is going to be sitting there being loaded or unloaded, right? So you factor that in. So you say an extra $100 to $200. So you want to add about another $1,000. So I'm gonna say $100 per pick and drop. So there's 9 total, 3 picks and 6 drops. So that's 9. So you say $900. So another $1,000. So he's saying $6,500. I would have said we need $7,500. You got 3 picks and 6. Even when he said it, like there was kind of a wince in his voice. He was like, "Yeah, there's 3 picks and 6 drops." Like we about to say no, kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? So, but he has. I'm sure this is probably a $7,500 load. He's trying to get it for $6,500 because he's trying to make his $1,000 spread. But with 6 picks and 6 drops, there's no way that someone's going to take that for 65. He said he maybe add another $100. I said 67. He's talking about $100. That's 66. Even with that. So the initials FC. When I said there's different types of shippers. There's an FCFS shippers. That means first come, first serve. I'll type it in here. So basically, whatever truck pulls into the dock, into the security gate, that's the first one that gets loaded or unloaded. So, and then you have 24-hour shippers. So it doesn't matter what time your truck gets there; they're going to get loaded or unloaded anyway. But this guy said they load up until 4, the first stop in Jersey. So how far are the other 2 picks? You know, so there's 3 pickups. He's going to 3 different shippers probably, or he might be going to 2 different shippers. Maybe one shipper you pick up 1 load, the other shipper you pick up the other 2. But you're doing a total of 3 pickups, and then you're doing a total of 6 deliveries, 6 drops. So pickups are shippers. Pickups. Matter of fact, let me put this in here. Pickups equal the shippers. Drops equal the receiver, or where alright, so pickups equal the shippers where the load's getting shipped out from, and the drops are where the receiver, or where the truck is delivering your items to. So how do you know, Kendra asked, how do you know there are extra stops when it wasn't in the special instructions? When you call, that's some of the load details, depending on the equipment type. Like I know with reefers, there's going to be at least, there's going to be more than 1 stop. So it's rare that you're going to get a 1-and-1, a 1 pick, 1 drop. But if you notice, when I was getting load details from him, he even mentioned, you know, there's 3 picks and 6 drops. But if you have a reefer carrier specifically, then you would ask them, you know, is it a 1-and-1, or how many picks and how many drops? That way, again, you get that information from the broker prior to communicating that to your carrier, so they will know. That's all part of dispatching. You want to make sure that your carrier is well. So basically, you're putting yourself in the carrier's place because you're getting information for the carrier. So if you were the carrier, what types of questions would you be asking that broker if you're anticipating trying to book that load? So it's the same thing. So since you're the middleman now between the carrier and the broker, the agent, you want to get that information, Kendra. So yeah. So how do you know that there are extra picks? Then oh, you did not know that. Yeah, you want to make sure, because if you say you didn't know it and you got a carrier packet and you was thinking it was just a 1-and-1, then you get the carrier packet, fill it out, send it in, your carrier gets approved, then they send the rate confirmation to you. So then you see on the rate confirmation, it got like 1 pick, but like 4 drops. You're like, what is this? Don't sign it, or don't have your carrier sign it, send it to your carrier, whatever. I'm sure he's not going to sign it, because going in, you guys didn't know it was 4 drops. You thought it was 1 pick and 1 drop. So discuss with your carrier, and he might say, well, call the broker back and say, well, we need more money because we didn't know that it was more than 1 drop. Well, part of you not knowing that is that question that you should have asked as a dispatcher from the beginning, especially on the equipment types that are reefers. You want to make sure that you are well aware of how many picks and how many drops are on reefer loads. So I'll call another reefer. I'm gonna call another reefer load on this MC number so we can see the difference. But yeah, that's what you need to know. Calypso said, is there a way to pre-plan route for carriers to put less miles on the routes when it's those multiple stops, like those foliage loads, the loads that have 16? There is. It's yeah, yes and no. Adam, unmute yourself if you can. Okay. Yeah, there is. I'll just reach out to me later. I'll go over that a little bit. Is there a way to pre-plan? Yeah, but just you want to limit your deadhead, of course. And then if you got like 16 drops, I wouldn't even consider running unless they're paying like $200 per drop. 16 drops, Jesus Christ. Yeah, that might as well be a dedicated lane for that carrier. So, but are there any questions about this specific load, this reefer, and what some of the things that need to be asked, or some clarity from some of the things that I mentioned to the broker and that the broker mentioned to me that you guys may have? Okay, so that was reefer. All right, so let's refresh, because that load might have disappeared. Let's refresh the screen. Okay, now here's another one. This there's 1,228 listed by 10, so I'm going to change it to like 100 so it can spread down a little bit more. Let's keep him from the West Coast. Let's take him down to Texas. So here's one going to Texas. Oh, this is SRAM. They got 1,000 stops. I already know. SRAM Logistics, SRAM Brokerage. Oh my goodness. I already know they're going to have like, they don't even say it there. Just call the number and 42,000 pounds, 1,400, and see what it says. Practical miles is 1,460, but the actual miles is 1,456. So they was only off by 4 miles. So, and from Wilmington, Delaware, he is 27 miles. So I won't even include this number in the loaded miles to get the cents per mile. So what is the cents per mile for this specific one? And that just disappeared. It didn't, oh no, it's still there. So 3,200 at 1460, right? $2.19. So it seems like right now with the rates these days, very good, Talina. With the rates these days, anything over $2 with the rates now, even for a reefer or flatbed, is pretty good because the rates are down. They're not going to come back up for a second, but once they do, you'll have a little bit more wiggle room. Normally during the season, like produce season or seasons for reefers, it's closer to $3, $3.50 a mile. So if you can get over $2 a mile in this downtime, then a carrier will consider that because they still want to run. They still got to make money. They still got to cover the cost of doing business. So this one here, SRAM Logistics or SRAM Brokerage, we'll do that. This is another reefer, okay? And I don't think we're set up with them, I don't think this MC has been under authority long enough, so we may get an example where we're told that, which is good because you need to hear that too. You just communicate that back to your carrier, saying that we've not been running our authority long enough to.
You have reached SRAM Logistics Solutions. If you know your party's extension, you can dial it now. For general dispatch, press 1. For scheduling.
And so you can even look up brokers, MCs, to see if they're good brokers. Right there. You can go to Safer and look them up, too. So, are we waiting?
You have reached SRAM Logistics Solutions. If you know your party's extension, you can dial it now. For general dispatch, press 1. For scheduling.
So go to MC, hit the broker, the MC, and then put the MC number in. So you're multitasking, getting information about SRAM Logistics. They're a broker. And then you get their information, see what they're about, their safety information, everything like that. So you can look up brokerages, licensing and insurance and stuff like that. So
you have reached SRAM Logistics Solutions. If you know your party's extension, you can dial it now. For general dispatch, press 1.
Okay, apparently they don't want to book Lowe's today. But just out of curiosity, crosswalks. I never get these right the first time, of course. I'm terrible at crosswalks. Oh, got it. So here's SRAM. Let's do an HTML. See, look at that. Look at that. I'm glad you see this. Can you guys see my screen? Type yes. I'm glad we looked them up. Look up brokerages too from now on when you guys call broker just to make sure. It says here in big bold letters that this entity or this brokerage has a pending insurance cancellation. In other words, the broker's insurance is about to cancel. The broker's insurance, not the trucker's insurance. So there's no point in me even calling them. You see that? So you look up brokers now to see about the brokerage. So, and look here. Their authority type, common authority, broker, they have a broker authority is active, applications pending, blah, blah, blah. But in other words, their insurance is about to expire. They need to renew it. That's why this is here. And FMCSA gives you all that information. It's public record. And they're possibly already out of business, right, Lita? So there. So let's get rid of SRAM brokerage. Bam. So that's a technique you guys can use too. To look, if you're leery of a brokerage, you may have heard about a brokerage not being a good brokerage, you can look them up. So, but let's go back. Let's go to our, that was a reefer. Let's do a flatbed example. Are there any questions so far before I move on to the next equipment type? If you can unmute yourself, go ahead. Someone had a question. Let's see. One more. Oh, one more reefer. Okay. All right, let's do another reefer here. And since we're still in the reefer category, let's bring him to the Midwest. So let's. How do you find loads for RGN? I don't. Removable goosenecks, basically like hot shots. But removable goosenecks, they're like low boys. They can hold a little bit more weight for heavy hauls and things like that. I don't really focus on them. Adam, you're going to discover that the 3 equipment types that move the most freight are the 53-foot. Matter of fact, let me type this in here. Please focus on 53-foot dry vans, 53-foot reefers, 48-foot or 53-foot flatbeds. Those are the ones that I recommend you focus on because you'll have a better success finding steady, consistent freight for those equipment types instead of spinning your wheels at them on trying to find something for an RGN or whatever. So, and when you're doing carrier searches and you search under flatbeds or you call a flatbed, make sure you ask them when you know, either before or after you do your pitch, how much money you need to move your truck or whatever pitch you're using. Make sure you ask them, do you have a 48 or a 53-foot flatbed? And they'll tell you. They'll say, no, I got a 40-foot hot shot on the dually. If they say that, if you're ready to deal with a dually, then go ahead. But otherwise, just, you know, strategically and tactfully end the conversation, you know, or end the call. Because, you know, although hot shots are cool, I'm just saying you can't. I'm not saying you can't find freight for a hot shot. I showed you a Raycon the other training that I found a $5,700 load for a hot shot, but I hit the jackpot that day, and it was a military load. But those are few and far between. But the loads or the equipment types that are steady are 53-foot dry vans, 53-foot reefers or refrigerated dry vans, and 48 and 53-foot flatbeds. Right, I know what you mean. I know what RGNs are. They're removable goosenecks. Those are the they're not the hot shots. The hot shots are 40-foot trailers just attached to a dually. RGNs are the heavy hauls, the low boys. They call them low boys, possum trailers, different things like that. Cattle trailers, possum trailers, they're low boys. They can hold heavy haul equipment, wide loads. I understand exactly what you're saying. OD loads. OD are oversized or overdimensional. So yeah, I get what you're saying, Adam. You can focus on that. Those are big money loads. If you got a specialty, if you know somebody in that and you got a specialty on it, then I mean you can find it. OD loads. When you look at the load boards, you'll see that on there. But then you got to go through the process. When it's OD, you got to go through the process of permits, pilot cars, and things like that. So focus on the flatbeds, vans, and trailers. Can hauling ice cream be it can if you don't pre-cool your reefer to the setting that it needs to run continuously while you're hauling that ice cream. Gwen, are you at work, Gwen? Can you unmute yourself? Okay, you're at work. Yeah, as long as ice cream is going to usually be hauled on reefers because those are cool type commodities that requires refrigeration. So if you get a reefer load that hauls that the commodity or the freight being hauled is ice cream, then the broker's going to tell you what the pre-cool temperature needs to be set at. And with this type of commodity, ice cream, it needs to be continuous. What continuous means is while the load is running constantly, that reefer unit needs to be set and on to keep that freight cool all the time at that specific temperature setting, whether it's 0 degrees, -5, -10. So that's what that means. So ice cream, I mean, it can only be a problem if your carrier is not keeping that commodity pre-cooled at that temperature. So say he doesn't and that stuff starts to melt. Now he's liable for that freight on the back of that trailer. So a good thing that he has liability insurance minimum of $1 million. So his insurance can cover it, but it's going to affect his premium going, downstream, because now your insurance people are going to say, well, you're like irresponsible. You're not handling the loads where it told you to keep it at a certain temperature and you didn't do that, and now you have damaged freight. So that falls into that category of, whether a load was successful. On time, damaged freight, no claims. He was under the category of damaged freight if he's not keeping that ice cream pre-cooled to a specific temperature. All right. So let me refresh the screen and do another reefer load. Someone asked, I think Talina, someone asked, or Kendra, for another reefer example. Okay, Gwen. All right. So let's take him to the Midwest. So I'm gonna tweak this load a little bit. So over here in this specific load board, internettruckstop.com, there's a wrench, a screwdriver thing here where you can edit the search. So I'm only going to select the states that are Midwest states. He's coming out of Philadelphia, but I'm going to choose multiple states, multi-state, and select the Midwest states, which is zone or area 4. So now it puts up here, and then I could put the date in. Let's put today's date. I left it blank because it's any day, but let's put today's date. Freight coming out today, which is Friday, and then we'll update. So now it's going to shrink. It went from 1,227 to 41, which is fine, but it's keeping them close to home. From Philly to the Midwest is closer than going all the way out to the West Coast. So we got one up here, Coyote. This is an overweight. Look at that. They put the wrong weight down there. That has to be over. Let's call them just to see why they said 89,618 pounds for a reefer. And let's see, 713. It's over 50. So let's include the 69 miles in this, and give me a cents per mile. I'm going to do it too. So 69, and then 713. So 782 into that. That could be a possibility, Selena. Multiple picks and stops. 1350, 782. That's less than $2 a mile. I'm not gonna call the book the low. I'm gonna call about the curiosity of the weight. Okay. And I may even try to get it bumped up to like 15 or 1600. But let's call Coyote. Let me open this up a little bit, see what the load details say prior to calling them. Here's the load number. You call this number. They're going to ask you to dial the number listed in the posting. There is no ID listed in the posting. There's a load number, but we'll see. All right. So you'll see this unusual number here, and I want to see what the discrepancy is. So
please dial the 6-digit ID listed.
Hey, Coyote, I got a reefer load today from Hillside, New Jersey to Plainfield, Indiana. You want the load number?
Yes, please.
1610 9421.
Give me just 1 second. Sorry.
Okay.
Hey, what's your MC?
078314. We're already set up with you guys. I had a question though. It said 89,618 pounds. Are they including the tractor weight in that trailer? Or is that a typo?
I believe it's a typo. I'm going to assume that's for the baby lady express. Is that right? Okay, what was your MC number?
078314. Loyal Breed.
Just double checking it. I'm sure it is an error, but
Yeah, because I just needed some load details about the load before I communicated with the carrier so we can decide if we want to book it.
I can't understand you. I'm sorry.
I said I wanted to get some load details about this load so I can communicate to the carrier before we decide to book the load. So
Well, just in case anyway, so it's going to be picking up. Can you be there by 1?
Yeah. He's empty now, so he's near Hillside, New Jersey.
Okay.
So
and then, go ahead.
is the load still available?
It is.
Okay.
It is. I'm confirming the weight right now, but.
Okay, because I got it off the load board and then I refreshed the screen and it disappeared. So I just want to make sure it's still available and you haven't booked it.
Okay, yeah, it is. So first pickup, you have to be there before 1. Next one, Edison, New Jersey, today from 2 to 11 p.m. is your window. And then delivers on Monday at 10 a.m. at Plainfield. And
So
it
it's
is 44,800 pounds.
44,800. So it's what is it? Two picks and 1 drop.
Correct.
Okay, and the what's the loaded miles on it, ma'am?
770.
It's so wait a second. It's going from Hillside, New Jersey to Plainfield, Indiana. And what did you say the loaded miles was?
770.
770. Okay. And it is paying $13.50. Is that the best you can do for that?
What were you looking for?
We look for about 15, 16.
What was that?
1550 to 1600.
No, Dad, I'm staying right up at 1350.
You affirm at 1350?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let me let my driver know. We may call you back. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
She was thinking about that. Any comments about that? You guys heard the conversation? She was thinking. I said I want 1550 to 1600. She was like, I'm staying at 1350. Okay. And it's, the loaded miles is 770. The weight was an error. That's why I called. I was just curious. It's actually 44,800, which is still more than what this specific my particular carrier wants to do. He wants to haul at 42,000, and it was paying. So let's take out the deadhead. Yeah, she was thinking hard, Kendra, wasn't she? Let's take out the deadhead. This is what you're going to deal with brokers. So I just want to give you guys live broker calls so you guys can actually hear scheming exactly. She was scheming. So you can actually hear the conversation so you guys will know what to expect going forward. And you'll know the different responses, the different litany of comments and things that will be said so you guys can have an idea. Okay, yeah, we went over this in training. Yeah, okay, she's trying to be slick. So you'll be able to read these people. So let's eliminate the deadhead, and let's just put 1350 at her. She said 770, so that's $1.75. It's under $2 for a reefer. So the strategy to muscle them into giving more money is say, hey, I got a carrier there right now. He can be there right now, but I need. You guys are firm on 1350. I need 1550 or 1600. He's empty right now, and he's about 10 miles from you. So if you want to book this load, they're going to say, okay, hold on for a second. They're going to lean over because they're in a big call center. This is what they do. Matter of fact, let me put my camera on so you can see me. They're going to have you on the phone, right? And it's funny. They're going to have you on the phone. Like, okay, yeah, hold on 1 second. They'll put you on hold. They'll lean over and say, yeah, I got a carrier. He's interested in blah, blah, blah. But he wants 1600 for it. He's like 10 miles away, and he wants this load here going from Hillside, New Jersey to Plainfield, Indiana. But he wants 1550 or 1600. And the manager or the guy who's more experienced than the person that you're on the phone with is going to say, yeah, okay, give him 1550. Don't give him 1600 because we need to make some money off of it. This is what they do. This is literally what they do. So, exactly. So, that's what they do. Yes, it's funny, ain't it? Yes. It's what they do. Or some of them may not be in a call center like environment or in a like cubicle kind of environment. They actually have to email or call their customer or shippers directly and say, I got a truck driver who's 10 minutes away, he's empty, he wants his load, but he wants 1550, and the shipper has to decide if they want to do it. So those are the two scenarios. The first scenario I gave you where the guy who's above the person that you're on the phone with, where he leaned over and spoke to, said give him 1550. They already have a target rate. This load is probably sold to them from the shipper for like 1800. But they marked it down. Let's say, for example, let's say it's 1750. They marked it down to. Let me take this real quick.
Affordable health insurance.
They marked it down from 1750 to 1350. So they're trying to make a $400 spread or profit on that 17. So that's greedy. That load's going to sit there for a minute. Now if it was regular busy season for a reefer equipment type, it'll sit there longer because it's under $2 a mile. It's under $3 a mile. So that's a reefer. I didn't even ask. There are some questions I didn't even ask because I just wanted clarity. The reason why I called this one specifically because I just wanted clarity on the weight, and that was a typo. So whatever broker or freight agent posted the load, they put the complete weight of the trailer and tractor onto the load. So that tells me right there that that person didn't have, good training or didn't know what they were doing. So in Freight Broker 101, if you guys happen to join my Freight Broker 101, you're not going to be doing that. You're not going to be posting weight for the total weight of the tractor and trailer when you post a load. You're only going to post the weight of the trailer load, which in this case was 44,800 pounds. So you're not going to post, because somebody's going to see that and like, that's a typo. I'm not going to even call them because they don't even have an idea what they're even doing. They can't even post a load correctly. So even though it is Coyote, so what? So, so any questions about a reefer before I move on to the next equipment type? So I did 2 examples of a reefer. Hopefully that gave you guys some clarity. And also, too, I didn't even ask for more details about that one. I didn't ask what the commodity was and what since it's a reefer, what's the pre-cool temperature of the commodity was or is. So I didn't even ask. I asked it for the first one, but I didn't ask for the second one. So, okay, so someone had a comment here. Let's see. Kendra said, I got a lot of information on. Can you unmute yourself, Kendra? Kendra, are you the 863686? Okay, yeah, okay. 3686. All right.
Hey.
Yeah. So what information did you get?
Well, I got that I supposed to ask about the picks and the stops, the picks and the drops, and the pre-cooling of the reefer, because most of the loads I have is hot shot. And
okay.
Then to get the best rate, let them know the drive is almost 10 minutes away.
Yeah, or he's empty within 30 miles. Just kind of entice them, because you tell a broker that, they're going to get excited because they got a carrier empty near their load, so they want to book that load so they can make their spread, make their money. So they may be willing to wiggle just a little bit. So you go up $200 on the rate. That, for example, that rate was $13.50. You say, okay, we want $15.50. So
right.
That example I gave.
Yeah, and plus the pre-cooling of the temperature for the truck for the reefer. I didn't know that. That I should ask, do it need to be pre-cooled or?
Yes, you do, because it's a refrigerated load. Reefer loads are dry vans with a TCU or temperature control unit on the front part of the trailer to keep the freight or the commodity in that trailer pre-cooled to a certain temperature. So with reefer units, you're usually hauling like dairy goods, ice cream, something, frozen chickens, frozen shell, something that's going to require the freight to stay cool while it's being transported from the shipper to the receiver. So you're always going to need to know what a pre-cool temperature is and whether that pre-cool temperature needs to be ran continuously or not. So,
okay,
and that's,
gotcha.
Yeah, that's particularly the case with reefer loads. And in some cases, you can turn your reefer unit off and use it as a dry van. So if a person owns a reefer truck, you can you have 2 chances of getting the load, because you can get a dry van load where you turn your reefer unit off and just run the dry van portion of it, or you can use it as a reefer. So.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yep. So Alicia said she wants to join Freight Broker 101 training. Is there anyone who wants to go in with me? So yeah, Freight Broker 101 is the 2-for-1. It's $3.99, the one-time thing. I just had 2 people sign up today, 2 people yesterday. So 2-for-1.
What, babe?
So all right. All right, let's see here. So let's go to flatbeds. So let's choose a flatbed load. Let's do a flatbed load from Houston, Texas. And let's just say flatbed. we'll say anywhere, and we'll just hit that. And when I first get the result, I always hit rate link so I can put the numbers in order from highest to lowest. Now you notice the higher numbers is 898, and I got it grouped. I got it opened up in about 100, I think it is. Yeah, 100 items per page. I can do more since it's over 100. So, but let's do a flatbed. Let's take it from Houston. Let's take it to, and also too, remember too, in dispatching, you want to move your carriers around the country to different states where the freight is coming in and out on a consistent basis. So let me give you my map again. And here. So we go to the map. So Houston, Texas, it's right here. So we got a flatbed load. You would ideally want to find out, well, what states haul flatbeds in and out pretty consistently. And then that's how you set up, you know, good lanes for your carriers as a dispatcher. You want to send your carriers to areas where you don't want to send your, even though rates pay good going to a state like Montana, it's going to be hell getting them out of there. So why not send your carriers for whatever equipment types to areas where they can get in and out, going to different places where they come in and out, we can find good paying loads. That's how you set up consistency and almost dedicated. But you know at least consistency. So as you book loads from time to time with your different carriers for different equipment types, make a mental note of the states that your brokers are, you know, have their lanes in, and then write that down and make a note. You know, okay, this broker got good paying loads for flatbeds coming out of the Ohio area going to Texas, or one coming out of Texas going over to Georgia. So now you can send, you know, your flatbed guy from Ohio to Texas, Texas over to Georgia, Georgia back up to Ohio, and just keep that triangular thing going with that one carrier for that one equipment type. You see? As opposed to sending them all over the place and not knowing different states, you know, don't pay. You know, I'm not trying to send nobody with a flatbed through the Rocky Mountains unless it's paying a decent amount and it has some backhaul coming out. But if you send them to areas where there's, you know, steady, consistent freight, and you know it's for that particular equipment type, whether it be a flatbed, dry van, or reefer, then concentrate on the brokers who have lanes coming out of those areas, and then just continually point your drivers, your carriers, with those specific equipment types in those areas. That's how it's done. You know, that's how it's done. That's not that complicated in that regard. You just got to get to a point where as you book more loads and as you see brokers posting their loads for whatever lanes they're in, and then as you talk to brokers, you ask them, you know, well, how often do you move freight in this lane? They'll tell you, because they want to. They're gonna figure, well, you must got a lot of fleet. You must got a lot of assets in your fleet. You must got a lot of trucks, assets, trucks, owner-operators, drivers. That's what assets are. So they'll tell you, it's free information. They'll say, yeah, we move out daily, weekly, twice a week. They move out daily, then yeah, of course. You go from Houston to Columbus, they move out daily. So you can go there and then go back down over here, come over here. So that's a week's time. So go back up there again, do the same thing. So if you can position your carrier to brokers who move out daily in the different states, then you're all set up. It'll be almost automatic at that point. All you gotta worry about now is the Raycon and getting paid, because you sending them to. Because now once you set up with that broker in this lane going from Houston to Columbus, you're already set up with that broker. So now you ain't got you do that carrier packet one time. After that, you just get rate confirmations for every other load going forward. After that, you just get rate confirmations for the next load. You ain't got to do a carrier packet on every load under that broker. You just do it once. That's how that works. You fill out the carrier packet for that broker one time. You get your carrier set up with that broker one time. You're in their system to run loads. Every other load that you book with that broker, now you just get a rate confirmation just to confirm that the amount that's being posted is the same that's on the rate com. So, and then you just send them to the area. Do the same thing with this broker. Get them set up. Run down here to Atlanta. Get them set up, and then shoot back over to Houston. So if you can set up, or any other state, whatever state you choose to decide for whatever equipment type, that's how you do it. So you strategically, so as a dispatcher, as a business owner, you strategically set up your carriers to do that. So if you got that for a flatbed doing that triangular thing, and you happen to come up on that and it's paying good going all like that, why not get all your flatbeds doing that? Send all your flatbeds. Say you got 5 flatbed carriers, send them all in those lanes. So now you got 5 carriers doing the same thing, especially if those brokers are moving loads out of there like daily. So 5 trucks coming in there, that's fine. You got 5 trucks under your dispatching company that's moving in those lanes, and they're all set up with those brokerages that's paying well. So you're getting paid for that. You got relationships with those brokers. You're moving loads successfully over time. At some point, you can start negotiating, getting higher rates for those loads now, because now you're proving to that broker that you got good carriers running those lanes. Are there any questions about that strategy?
Hey Charles.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't have a question about that, but I do got a question about, the broker and broker agent. So,
okay.
Old girl and even a few other people too, when you call them, they be a little skeptical about the price. Now, as a broker agent, does the actual broker dictate how much you can sell that for? Because, for instance, like that last load we just looked at, when you was trying to get 15 or 16 for it, right?
Right.
And old girl, she was a little hesitant about going up on the price. Is that because possibly she's not really the broker, she's a broker agent, and she can't up that price really if she wanted to?
Yeah, hold that thought 1 second.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, this is Charles. How can I help you?
Hi, how are you?
Okay.
I was just gonna tell you that I'm gonna be over there. So just try to call me and keep my phone on loud before you come by. But I was gonna tell you just come by when you're done, and then we'll do whatever.
Okay. Oh, who is it? Oh, it's Dion. I was like, whose line is this?
Try to call me, but I got a couple things to do real quick. But I'm gonna go over there and just come by when you're done.
Okay, so you'll be at the spot. Okay, I'll come to the spot and we'll go. Okay, all right, because I'm in training right now. All right, thank you.
Okay.
All right, Tayshawn. So yeah, she's a broker agent. So the broker may have trained her to say, okay, this is our rate firm. If someone wants to negotiate, get with one of the senior brokers or the broker agent who's a senior to renegotiate. So she's been trained to be firm on that specific amount. So yeah, she may be just an agent. So if you go up under a brokerage, some brokers may say we have a firm rate, but you may have a little bit of wiggle room because we got the rate. I mean, we got the load sold to us by our customer, who's the shipper. Like that one, for example, that rate was $13.50. The shipper may have sold it to the brokerage for $17.50. So that's a $400 difference. So as a broker, I would tell my agents, okay, we want to make $400 off this load, but if we lose $200 just to sell a load, that's fine too. We still make $200 because in the end, it's free money, right? So if you give back to the carrier an extra $200 for them to move that load, you still win as a broker. But if you're trying to be greedy and get the whole $400, that load gonna sit there forever.
Yeah, and that's the point I was trying to make, because like maybe she probably would have like did something like that, but because the broker's like, nah, you can't, don't go nowhere, don't do nothing with it. So they really dictate.
And you can tell by the tone in her voice, right? Did you catch that?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So, and that's the difference between the dispatching side and the broker side. You pick up on that, and you're going to learn that because you're going to be in the broker thing, so you're going to see that. And I'll teach that as far as the spread that you want to make. Like with me, when I do getting loads from shippers, I want to make only between $50 and $100 per load. And people say, well, damn, why so low? Especially with those loads that I know the shipper's not initially selling them for a good rate, then I only want to make $50 to $100 because I'm thinking volume. So if I get 5 loads from that shipper and I'm moving, let's say I move 5 loads a day for the shipper initially, because they want to test me out. I just signed on this new shipper as a broker agent or a broker, right? So They want to test me out. So say I move 5 loads a day, just 5 at $50 per load times 5. So that's just $250 a day. But 5 days, I made $1,250 for that week for that one shipper. You see what I'm saying? Say I got 5 shippers and I'm doing that same small thing. But let's just stay on this one shipper example. So I move 5 loads to shipper. See, I'm moving it for like a month or two consistently, moving $50 loads. I'm moving it. I'm keeping my sale price close to their target rate. Their target rate was say $1,400. I sold it for $1,350, so it's a $50 spread. So the shipper saying I'm moving 5 loads, they're gonna say, okay, yeah, you're doing pretty good. I'm gonna give you 5 more loads. So now it's 10 loads a day. So now it goes from $250 to $500 a day, right? So now that's times 5 days. You see how volume works?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So now, and that's just one shipper. $2,500 a week on that one shipper as a freight agent or broker. You're moving $2,500 a week, or you're making $2,500 a week at $50. Now, say if it was $100, so you double that. If it was $100, now it's $5,000 a week on one shipper. Say you got 5 shippers doing that at $100 a week. $25,000, 5 shippers, you can make 25. You see the numbers now?
Yeah.
But see, that's being humble and coming and just lowballing. Most brokers are trying to crack people's head. They're trying to make $400 off that one load. You see what I'm saying? So they're gonna be stuck.
Yeah.
So if you can give up and if you can take away $200 from that and then give it back to the carrier, so instead of $1,350, say $1,550, the carrier might be saying, okay, yeah, I can do it for $1,550. You still moved the load, you made $200 instead of $400. You didn't meet your quota, but you got $200. You didn't lose anything. The load ain't sitting there. The shipper's not worrying you, saying, hey, you're not moving my load. I may consider taking you off this contract.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So it's all about numbers. It's all about volume, things like that. So,
Okay.
all right.
I'm curious about that.
Yeah. Sometimes agents will have the brokers will tell the agent like, this is. Hold up. Hello, it's Charles. How can I help you?
This is an message regarding your.
All right. Hang up, block. Okay. Yeah, so sometimes a broker, there's 2 options in that. Sometimes a broker will tell the agents, like, look, we're firm on $1,300. Or they'll say, okay, we're going to make $400 off this, but the least we can make is $200, and the most we can make is $400. So that gives the agent what? A $200 wiggle room to play with, right? So as an agent, they'll probably start off giving $50 to the carriers. The carrier might be negotiating with them. It's $1,350, but what are you looking for? The carrier might say, well, I'm looking for $1,450, an extra $100. So as an agent, well, you got $200 wiggle room, so I'll take that. I'll say, okay, yeah, I'll give you $1,450. I'll give you an extra $100. So now I still make $300. So I'm $100 under my target rate, but I still make $300. You see how that's working? So
yeah. I'm with you on it, and I agree with you saying as far as moving volume.
Yeah, because
trying to get that one big load.
Right. You move volume, so you're building numbers across time, and you're proving to the shipper that you can work. Now they're going to give you more loads, especially if they got other brokers because you're not the only broker that a shipper is giving their loads to. They're giving it to as many brokers as they can because they want to move their loads to their customers. Shippers have customers too. You may have a manufacturer who ships loads to Walmart. That's the shipper's customers. So your trucks are shipping to the Walmarts. So if you got brokers who are not meeting the shipper's requirements and they see you moving volume, they're going to cancel the broker over here and give you those loads from that broker because you're proving yourself with this volume. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I got you.
So that's how that works. Okay, let me minimize this. But you guys, the other people, other guys, you understand the part about finding states as you book loads with your carriers for your equipment types, especially those 3 major equipment types, the dry vans, flatbeds, and reefers. Find those states that move freight in and out pretty consistently with those brokers and ask them, well, okay, how often do you guys do it? If they do it 2 or 3 times a week or daily, then you might want to stick with that brokerage and reach out to them from time to time. Hey, you got something coming out of here, and then where is it going? Is it going to a state that also moves out? So now you set up a square or a triangular kind of a lane for your guys, or more than one guy, and keep them running. You see what I'm saying? So you just got to figure out, what states. The Midwest is pretty good. The Southeast is pretty good. Texas is okay. And then you have states that are seasonal, like Florida for the citrus time of year produce, watermelons, things like that. Then you got out here in the Pacific Northwest for like potatoes and apples, and Washington State, California with the oranges, things like that, even Florida with the oranges. And then, you know what I'm saying? So you'll pick up on that as you move and go along. So, and I'm in the process. I'm gonna think about creating a database that has those states, because as I book loads, I'm making a note of the brokers in those states that move freight consistently in those lanes, and then I'm going to try to find other states that they point to that also have good lanes coming out, so we can kind of send our carriers to those areas consistently. So kind of like an internalized dispatcher load board in a sense. So yeah, Adam, it's going to take time, because I'm a one-man team right now. So, I mean, volunteers are welcome. But okay, so let's minimize that. So we're on flatbed now. All right. So flatbeds, and let's take him over to the Midwest. I just want to call a flatbed carrier and eventually call a dry bed carrier, at least before we end at 1 o'clock. So I want to give you guys some game on, what to say, what to expect the replies to be. So Houston flatbed, let's take them to, let's see, what states are good with flatbeds? Arkansas, Louisiana, we can keep it Oklahoma, Texas, Colorado sometimes. Midwest is always good, like Ohio. I'm going to look for Ohio specifically. Let's see what we get. So from 903 to 344. So right there, I knew Colorado, Pearl in Texas, which is not far from Houston, 14-mile deadhead. Kingsburg, I know that area. I know there's a lot of lumber and steel pipes coming out of there for flatbeds, because this is a flatbed example. PLI, I'm not sure about PLI. I'm going to have to look them up a little bit. Okay. So see, there's a lot of blank stuff in here, so we got to get some load details from PLS Logistics. Let's look up PLS real quick, right? Because when you're unsure about a brokerage, let's look them up just to get a sense of what's going on. Because you can look up brokers too, right? There's no law against not looking them up. Bicycles. Oh, another one. I missed it. I can't stand when I get this wrong, because the pictures disappear and they reappear with the same thing that you're looking for. What is this? Buses? There's no buses. All right. I never get this right the first time. Okay. What happened? Are you serious? Crosswalks. Vehicles. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's only one. How easy can that be? Okay, it checked out. So search. All right. Okay, really? I know that idea. I put the wrong DOT in there. Sorry about that, guys. But this is looking up the brokerage just to make sure that there's no insurance lapses and things like that. Because, all right, PLS, Pittsburgh Logistics System. That's what PLS is. This is their information. It was the wrong DOT above it. It was the DOT left over from the last example, the SRAM brokerage. So let's see what we got here. So they have a common carrier inactive and a contracted carrier inactive, but they are a broker. So that's what you need to see. There's no big red letter saying anything about insurance. So everything is good. They are property brokers. They're not passenger or household goods or enterprise and property. So they're good. So let's call them on 030-762. Let me use my flatbed MC. and get some load details. So we don't have enough information for this load, so I need to know what's going on. It's going at 1,158 miles. So let's see what kind of flatbed questions we're going to ask. Okay, I don't stay on it too long. It's East Coast and it's lunchtime apparently for them. But everybody went to lunch at the same time? Okay, that's cool. Let's go to the next one. I just want to get an example. I want to get at least one example from flatbed and dry bed before we leave so you guys can see. Here's one, it's 812. Here's one that's from Houston to Pecos. This is Texas to Texas, 47,000 pounds. The most weight on a flatbed is 48,000 that they can scale, but most carriers want to keep it below 46 for fuel efficiency, just so you guys know. When you get back your profile with your dispatch agreement, they'll usually say sometimes, if it's a flatbed guy, they'll have in there for the weight, they'll say between 46 and 48. So, and that's 1,000. So PLS didn't, okay, here's one. I got some little bit more information. Okay, steel pipes, 47,000 pounds, steel pipes, 47,000, pipe stakes, straps, 20 pieces of dunnage. So that's, I'm going to go into detail of what all that stuff is in case you guys don't know, but let's call them and get some load details in addition to that and see if we can, see what negotiating skills we can do. Any tarp or not. Hey, Greg, what's going on, man?
Hey, not too much. How are we doing?
All right, Houston, Texas for a flatbed to Pecos, Texas. Is that still available today?
Yeah, I'm sorry. That was just covered.
Ah, you son of a gun!
Yeah, sorry.
All right, that's okay. Was it a tarp load? Because I'm looking at the load details. It wasn't tarp. It was just steel pipes.
Yeah, it was piped. Yeah, it was 47,000 pounds of steel pipe.
Okay, it's covered already. All right, thanks.
Yeah, have a good day.
All right, you too. So you see what I did? That's why I tell you guys, when you start the conversation off with the broker, you always want to ask them, you know, I'm looking for, like in this example, flatbed load, my exact verbiage. I tell the equipment type first. I'm looking for a flatbed load for the day going from Houston, Texas to Pecos, Texas. Is it still available? And then he'll look, or he'll say, no, man, that's already been covered, or let me check, put you on hold, check their TMS system or whatever they're looking at, load commander, whatever, and see if it's still available. So any questions about that? That load was gone, but which is cool. But it's steel pipes, 47,000 pounds. Pipe stakes are, if you notice on the flat, matter of fact, let's do this. If you guys can see my screen. Well, I didn't want to play a YouTube video. I just wanted to see. Here we go. Pipe stakes. These are pipe stakes. Images of pipe stakes. So let's get a clearer picture here. So if you notice the holes in along the perimeter of the flatbed trailer, this is a 48. This thing sticking up inserts in those holes every so many feet, like every 10 feet, every 5 feet, or whatever. These are pipe stakes. These are 4-foot long pipe stakes. You got 6-foot long pipe stakes too. They're longer. Right here, that's a better example. Right there, boom. See how they're spread out so many feet? And then the dunnage, because it mentioned dunnage in that load as well, 20 pieces of dunnage. The dunnage are the 2x or 4x4 wooden blocks. These are dunnages. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So they're going to put pipes on top of that, and the pipe stakes along the perimeter every so many feet. So the reason, and they strap it in, the reason is because they don't want, as the truck's driving and turning, they don't want the pipes to shift and slide off the bed of the trailer, right? That's why pipe stakes are put here. So when they do slide, like say you don't strap them in too tight and they do slide, they're going to at least hit the pipe stakes. They won't fall off the truck completely. You won't have a disaster. So for example, like right here, these are, the steel pipes. The pipe stakes are here. Pipe stake, pipe stake, pipe stake, pipe stake. These yellow things are the straps that straps them in. Sometimes you have chains and binders on here as well. And then you see the wooden blocks right here. These are the dunnages that the pipes are on top of. So this is an example of a pipe, a steel pipe load. This probably looks like it's about 47,000 pounds with pipe stakes and dunnage, which are wooden 2x4 or 4x4 blocks that goes under the pipes. So now with lumber, like wooden trees, instead of pipes, you won't use dunnage, but you still would use pipe stakes, and you still would use straps and maybe even chains and binders. So are there any questions about that? And this is what flatbed loads particularly. So anybody have any questions about that? This is a perfect example. Matter of fact, I need to save this image and that image so I can use as examples so you guys can see. This is a perfect example of what a flatbed load looks like with a steel pipe load with straps. Those usually the fat straps, the 4-inch straps or 6-inch straps, the real thick ones, and they hook to some of those holes along the perimeter of the flatbed, and then you strap them in, you ratchet them in, you strap them in, and you roll up the excess and fold them up and tuck them in. If you guys who are truck drivers, you understand what I'm saying. And then you have the dunnage under it, then the pipe stakes along the side. Sometimes you got a little a block at the head of this right here. You have a wall standing up. It's called a headache rack. So if you had to make it an abrupt stop, even though they're strapped in, they may pop and slide forward. You don't want the pipe sliding into the cab of the tractor and killing you. So you got something here what's called a headache rack. So it keeps that from happening. It hits the headache rack, boom, it stops. That's what a headache rack is. So, and I think this one has a headache rack. Yeah, that little piece right there is a headache rack. So, but that's what that is. So, anybody have questions about that example or what that is? This is a headache rack right there. Boom, that's a headache rack right there. So if this slides, that won't affect. Even if this slides, this is going to slide, but it's going to fall straight down in between the tractor and trailer, like by the fifth wheel and everything. But this main stuff, it slides straight into the back of the cab of the tractor. To prevent that, that's why this headache rack is here. Sometimes headache racks are high enough to even catch this stuff up here. You may have a 6-foot or 8-foot ones, but this one is a standard headache rack on this trailer. Some tractors have headache racks on them too. So if you got a tractor with a headache rack and a trailer with a headache rack, you're double protected from sliding freight, because you may strap it in, but you never know. You might hit something, it pops and things like that. So, and all these materials is kept up under the trailer. If you notice, you see these blue things, those are tarps under here, because this load is not tarped. So a lot of owner-operators keep their materials tucked up under the trailer, so as they need it, they'll take it out and use it. So he needs 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 straps for this load. Strap it in, ratchet it in. If you notice there, I don't see any pipe stakes on this one, but that's fine. Any questions about that? About the and these are just accessories that are needed with flatbed loads. You're going to need pipe stakes. You're going to need dunnage, the 2x4 blocks, and chains and binders and tarps. And in some cases, if you're going on like construction sites or military bases, you may need what's called PPE. Those are the protective equipment, personal protective equipment, PPE. The hard hats, the neon vests, the steel-toe boots. That's what those are. Those are PPE equipment that you'll need. Steel-toe boots, those neon vests that you wear, and those hard hats, the neon hard hats that you're going to need when you're on those sites too. So, any questions about that? Flatbeds and some of the equipment that you're going to need, the accessories that you need with the flatbed. So when you call the broker, you ask those, speaking of which, let's call another broker and ask about any accessories that you're going to need. Like, do you need pipe stakes, dunnage, things like that. So let's refresh this real quick. And that PLS one, they didn't pick their phone up. And this is the one that didn't have the low details in it. But let's try that one more time, and then I'll move on to the dry van. Yeah, because they didn't have nothing. They didn't have nothing in here, so we will ask that question. Let's call Anthony. Is the dispatch person? He's the user or the dispatch person, but he didn't answer his phone. He may be at lunch, and it's just 12:30, so we may still not get through to them. So let's see. Okay, that's fine. Let's do one more. Spring, Texas to there. 45,000 pounds, but nothing else. So we got to ask some questions. This is broker Worldwide Integrity Supply. I'm not real sure about them, so let's do a quick check of them real quick, like we normally do. All right? Just to be safe. Okay, Worldwide Integrity out of Iowa. Their information. Let's look them up. They are an active broker, okay, and they're just property brokers, which is the standard ones. Okay, so they're good. So let's give them a call. Check on this load. And see that quick little extra step can go a long way, because earlier we discovered one whose insurance is getting ready to expire. Why would I run under a brokerage who don't even have insurance themselves? That's going to affect my factory company if my carrier has a factory company. So.
Hello, it's Brandon Worldwide.
Hey, how you doing? I'm looking at a flatbed load for today going from Spring, Texas to Denver. Is that still available?
Yeah. Actually, wait, for what day?
For today, Friday?
Actually, no, it's not available today. We're supposed to get some more bumped up to today because all today's covered, but they didn't actually bump any up. So the next available I would have would be Monday. What do you got going there?
Well, I got someone empty in Houston right now. We may consider Monday. I need some load details about it before I let them know. Is that okay?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, no problem there. What company with?
Rolling Thunder. The MC is 030762.
All right, sounds good. And then it's a load of skidded aluminum coils, 2 to 3 skidded coils. It does require 6-foot tarps. Do you have those?
Yeah, we got. What else do you need? There's no pipe stakes, no dunnage. What do you need? Chains and binders or what?
Nope, just straps, 6-foot tarps, and then no step decks.
Yeah, it's just a regular. It's a 48 102.
Gotcha. Okay, sounds good.
And is it?
That's really all there is to it. Picks up in Houston, Texas today. Monday. First come, first serve. 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. And then delivery is in Golden, Colorado, suburb of Denver. Golden. They're 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. First come, first serve every day of the week. So.
Okay, so and it's a 1 and 1. One pick,
yes.
One pick, one drop. Yeah.
One pick, one drop. Yeah.
Okay, and the rate is 19. What's the loaded miles?
Rate 1900 there.
What's the loaded
miles? Let me check. Hold on here. I'll meet you up there, yeah. There we go.
Loaded miles I have, I think, right around 1,000. 1031 to be exact.
Okay, so 19 is the best for that loaded miles?
Yeah, I gotta stay at 19 there.
Okay, you say you gotta stay at 19?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'll let since this is gonna be for Monday, gives me time to call my guy and see what he wants to do. 45,000 pounds?
Yeah, it'd be 2-3 coils, 40 to 46,000 pounds.
40 to 46.
Usually they're right around 44.
Okay. 42 to 46, usually around 44. Okay. All right. Thank you.
You too, appreciate it.
All right. All right, guys. Any comments about that one? We got a lot of information which wasn't posted in the reason why sometimes brokers, you guys need to know this too. You need to know this. The reason why brokers don't post a lot of details in it because they're trying to sell you the load. So when you call and get all this information, make sure you get the necessary information that your carrier is going to need to make an informed decision. But they're trying to sell the load. I'm not going to take the load because, first of all, it's undervalued. 1,900 at 1031. So it's not even $2 a mile. Well, I did the wrong math, first of all. 1,900. $1.84. Yep, Talina. So you guys are picking up on that part at least, right? Figuring out the cents per mile. Yeah, $1.84. I mean, sometimes a carrier may take something like that just to get to something else that's paying better. So it's a strategy with them. So they may say, yeah, just give me anything. I'm trying to get over here to Denver because I got a money load. So he may take that, but I'm just using my carriers as an example, just as a teaching tool today. So, but it's a load of steel coils, 2 to 3 coils between 42 and 46,000 pounds, 44 roughly. In case you guys. These are steel coils. So 2 to 3 of these big steel coils on the flatbed, if you notice, right? This is what steel coils are. So between 42 and 46,000 pounds. So you're going to have 1, boom, 2, and then another one, 3 on there. And just straps. He said just straps, but of course, these are big, so you're going to need chains. Remember I said chains and binders? Here's an example of that. Chains and binders right here. So bind it down. The chains are bound down to the trailer. And you got dunnage wedging the steel coils, a set of dunnage, one on each side to kind of keep it from rocking back and forth, and then strapped in, or chained in, I'm sorry. So he said, I don't know why they need 6-foot tarps to cover this up. They're steel coils. I don't know why they need them tarped for. It may be a requirement from the shipper, but these are steel coils. Unless it's raining in that area, they don't want the steel to like rust or whatever, but I can't see another reason why. Also, it picks up in Houston, even though it said Spring, Texas. Spring, Texas is not far from Houston. So, somebody had a comment. Yeah, don't want them to rust, exactly. So steel coils, that's why they want it tarped. And picks up in Houston between 8 and 4, FCFS. Remember what FCFS was? What does that mean? Between 8 and 4, FCFS. And then delivers at 6 a.m., FCFS in Colorado. So, hubby said that. First come, first serve. So it picks up in Houston, Texas between 8 and 4, first come, first serve. So if you get there at 7:30 and they open up at 8, you might be one of the first ones to get in there to get loaded in Houston between 8 and 4. And the delivery is in Golden, Colorado, and not Denver, but Golden, Colorado, which is outside of Denver, a suburb. Between, he said 6 a.m. and 3, I think he said, 6 a.m. and 2. But that's also FCFS, first come, first serve. The loaded miles was 1031. And it's paying $1,900. You got to be kidding me. So if you want to negotiate with them, they'll say, well, what are you looking for? The first thing you would do, if whatever rate you know your carrier wants for it, say he wants at least minimum $2 a mile. So you simply just take that loaded miles and multiply it by the rate that your carrier wants, $2 a mile. And that's what you give your broker. He says 1,900. Well, we want, let's say, 2,100 right there. Even though that's 2062 is exactly $2 a mile. If you say we want 2,100, that's a $200 difference from what the broker had the load available at 1,900. So it's a $200 difference, 2,100. So 2,100 at the 1031 is over 2,000 miles to like 203, 204. So he would have probably considered that because you didn't go too high up. The shipper may have sold that load for 2,500. You never know. They're trying to make $600 off the load, or maybe 2,300, and they're trying to make $400 off the load. So try to bump it up and try to take some of the money back from the broker and pass it on to the carrier, which ultimately passes back on to you because you're getting a percentage of that gross amount. So you're starting to understand how that part works. Alrighty, so let's do a drive-in. Let me do one of my drive-in, 442-743. So I'll X out of this, and let me X out of this one. That's an example. And I see members of the Dispatcher 101 using this load board, which is good. That's cool. Okay, I got a drive-in guy. He's in Appomattox, Virginia. And let's say I know where he wants to go and I know where he doesn't want to go. So 347 total right now for going anywhere from Appomattox today, or not just today, but any day. And let's put the rate, let's click rate, put it in order. And this is a good rate. Well, not a good rate, it's a bad rate because of the loaded miles, but it's a good weight, the amount. Dry vans, the trailer holds about 45,000 pounds. The total gross GWVR, the gross weight rating, the gross vehicle weight rating is about 80,000 pounds if you count the tractor and trailer. But 20,000 pounds, that's light on that trailer. That's like more than or less than half of what you'll be hauling. 45,000, half of that is what, 22.5? 22.5. So yeah. But this one here is decent, but it's going up to the northeast, New Hampshire. So you got to deal with snow. So you're going up here from Virginia, Appomattox, Virginia, which is right here. You're going to deal with the Appalachian Mountains a little bit. Deal with 95 and 80 and 81 going up this way to New Hampshire. So you got to go. You're not hitting the island of New York like that, so you're bypassing that. So that's cool, but you're still dealing with that traffic and that snow this time of year. Up here is kind of like terrible. Unless you got a carrier who's cool with that. This one here from Virginia, which is 90 miles, so you're going to include the deadhead in there, paying almost 1,800, 40,000 pounds, but it's only going 453 miles. That might be a team run because it seems. Let's open this up real quick. Okay. Do not do drop trailer loads. Preloaded drop trailer. You got to drop your trailer at a shipper and then leave it there for a few days. You're missing money. Don't do that. I recommend not doing it unless they pay you, motivate you with good payment to drop a trailer, leave your trailer there or your carrier's trailer there. Don't do it. Trust me. Trust me when I tell you. Do not do it. And then all these drops, you got to come back and get it. You're going to be going through so much nonsense. Don't do it. Just take my, please take my word for that. Trust me on that. So if you got a power only and you're dropping somebody else's trailer, that's fine. But if you got your own trailer and they want you to drop your trailer, negative. But, let's choose, so we're on drive-in. So, okay, so Enrico so that's Sunday. That's a weekend load because today is the 22nd, Friday, so Sunday is the 24th. So he can pick it up Sunday, so it gives him a head start for the next week. So Enrico, Virginia, down to Jacksonville, Florida, going down to the sun. So that's ideal. But we need some information. So we got an extension for the number for Herbert, but We don't have any details. What's the weight? What's the time to pick up? When is it deliver? This is practical load of miles. What's the actual load of miles? And we can see if we get at least $2 out of it, because right now it's a little under $2. So, okay. So we don't know. My dry van guy, he wants to haul no more than 42,000 pounds on his trailer. So I know that. So you'll know what your guys want to haul and where they want to go and what the rate they want to get paid based off of the profile, right? So, someone has a question? We got about 10 minutes here. Let me call this one at least and get some details. And this is a dry van carrier. We did 2 reefers. We did 1 flatbed, at least getting dialogue. And now we're going to do this dry van. So let's call this dry van load and get some information about them, or about the load, I should say.
Thank you for calling dispatch. If you know your party's extension, please dial it now.
4801.
For West Coast dials.
All right, right there.
Thank you for calling dispatch. Please hold for the next available agent.
Global Trans. I should have looked them up. But matter of fact, while I'm waiting, hopefully I won't wait too long. But this is how you multitask.
Dispatch, this is Laura speaking.
Hey, you say Laura?
Yes.
Hey Laura, I'm looking at a dry van load for Sunday, picking up in Henrico, Virginia, going down to Jacksonville, Florida. Is that still available?
Yes, sir. That load is not for Sunday. That's for Monday. Let me tell them to fix the posting because it's for the 25th.
Okay, that's even better. I just need some load details.
Okay, what is your FC number first?
442743.
I don't see you guys set. Let me check your authority and your scores to see if we can get you guys bookable.
Okay,
1 second.
That's fine. While you doing that,
Okay, in 1 month, 20%, 40%, just 1 high score. Let me check if we have any reports. Nope. Okay, we can get you guys bookable for this load. This load is picking up at 1 p.m. on Monday. Delivery is going to be next day at 10 a.m. in Jacksonville, Florida. Commodity for this load is bottled beverages, non-alcoholic. Weight is 43,600 pounds. Has to go either in a 53 van or a reefer, and we're paying $1,200 for this load.
and what's the loaded miles?
Loaded miles is 598 miles, sir.
598. So 1,200 is the best you can do?
That's the best we can do, sir.
Okay, 43. It delivers next day, 43.6. And then what time next day you said?
10 a.m.
10 a.m. So it picks up at 1 on a Monday and delivers Tuesday at 10 a.m. Okay, let me let my carrier know. Yeah, we may call you back, especially since it's Monday. All right, thank you.
All right, thank you. Bye-bye.
All right. Okay, she was talking kind of fast, but I got the information I needed. Let me look her up while I'm thinking about it. So what do you guys think about that load? It's over $2 a mile because it's $598 at 1,200. So Global Trans out of Scottsdale, Arizona. Broker, property. Okay, so they're good. So there's no issues with that. With dry vans, the extra materials you're going to need for the dry van is just E-tracks in the trailer, which are straps and crossbars, low bars, things like that. You may need an air ride trailer and tractor, your air ride suspension, stuff like that. So, so she said $598 at 1,200. And this is without deadhead. $201. From where he's at to Henrico is 72 miles, so it'd be even less. It'd be under $2. He's going down to Jacksonville, so something to consider. Picks up Monday at 1 p.m., delivers next day 10 a.m. It's 43,600 pounds, so it's over the weight limit that my carrier wants. He only wants to haul 42,000, even though you could max out at 45,000 you got to understand why your carriers say they want less than their max. They're trying to save fuel. So the more weight you have, the more fuel you burn, and the more money it's going to cost to pay for that fuel. So that's why. So, all right, guys, let's wind down a little bit. We got about 5 minutes. Open it up for Q&A. So we did examples of calling brokers on the 3 equipment types: dry van, flatbeds, and reefers. We actually did 2 reefers. We got some good feedback. I hope you guys learned or picked up on some things. So when you call brokers, and you can go back and watch this is recorded. When you call brokers, you know some of the things to ask. You know, first come, first serve, FCFS, maybe some appointed times. Is that the best you can do on the rate? They'll ask you, well, what are you looking for? So then you just whip out a calculator in front of you and multiply $2 or $2.20, whatever your carrier wants per mile, times the loaded miles. That's why you ask them all the time, well, what's the loaded miles? I see practical miles, but loaded miles is what actually from shipper to receiver, 598. So we got 4 minutes. Any comments, questions, Q&A? Got time for that? Unmute yourself, ask your question, and go from there. Or type it into the chat box there. No questions? You guys are a bunch of know-it-alls. What are the chances of weekend carrier contracts? You mean getting somebody to sign up to a dispatch agreement over the weekend? Last weekend, I sent out like 5 agreements. I got back 2 last weekend. So, I mean, the chances are actually easier because most cases, the carriers are like doing their 34-hour resets, resting at a truck stop, or some of them are even at home. So they actually got time to look at the agreements and maybe even print them out, look at them, or fill them out on the DocuSign thing that you send if you have a DocuSign account. So the chances are actually pretty good. I called. I didn't blind email vet. I did the text alerts. So I sent out my text thing to some of them because I went on Truckers Path, did a text thing, and then I called based off of vetting from the text alerts. And sometimes I send text and I get back, like somebody will reply to me in the text. So if you text someone, like whatever thing you text them with, and then you get back a response from that, and that opens the door. That's no longer a cold call. It's more like a warm call. I'm going to send you this leader now link for the map that you use. I can send you a copy from the map. So yeah, the weekends are a great time because they're doing their resets. So there you go, leader. Giovanni said, I'm battling with working and calling carriers. Do you have any advice? Like a full-time job and stuff like that, and then trying to call carriers. When are your off days? What times? Things like that. Are you off weekends? If you're off weekends, it's a good time to call. Let's see. So yeah. So depending on your off days, or if you're off on the weekends, those are good times to call and go from there. Felicia. Kendra asks, explain TONU. The broker didn't tell me the load needed to be picked up by 3 p.m. Okay, let's go back to Felicia. She said, I work 4 hours. I work 12-hour days, 4 days a week. So what is that, Monday through Thursday? Or is it a flex thing? Or is it shift? Is it changes? Is it
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. This Felicia?
My day is vary. Because I do dialysis. So my days vary. I don't work on Sundays. But my work schedule is 6 days a week, but I only work 4 of those days. So 2 of those days I may have off. Besides Sunday.
Okay. So So the only off day you have for sure is Sunday.
Right.
And then the other 2 days, they vary depending on your schedule. The other 2 off days, because you say you work 4 days or 7 days a week, so you're going to be off 3 days. You just don't know which. You know one day for sure Sunday, but you don't know the other 2.
Right.
Okay. So whatever those other two are, whether it's a Saturday, if one of those other 2 is a Saturday, then you can use that weekend, that Saturday and Sunday, to call carriers because that's a good time to call them. And then if the other day of the 2 that you don't know is during the week, you call them like early a.m., like between 7 and 9, and then afternoon between 4:30 and about 7. If that other off day is during the week.
Right. Yeah, and I think I'm having issues with I think I don't know. I'm thinking it's the way I talk when I meet these carriers, because I'm not confident in my conversation. I think that has a lot to do.
I'll tell you what. If you want to do it right now, I'm a carrier. Call me.
Ooh, Jesus, no.
We can do a mock trial right now if you want.
I'm nervous about it.
I mean, it's up to you now. I don't want to pressure you, but I mean, we can.
No, I don't want to do it right now. I got to build my confidence, because like when I'm talking, my words get mumbled because I'm not confident. So yeah.
Okay, so do you send out text alerts to them as well, or what?
I just make phone calls when I can. Like today, I was off today, so I got up early and I was making phone calls today, but I got no luck from no one.
So we may have to visit what you're saying and how you are saying it.
Right, I think that's my issue. So I don't want to do it in front of everyone.
Okay, that's cool. Well, you could call me privately, and we can do a script, and I can just critique you privately if you want.
Okay, I can appreciate that.
Okay, and I'm putting my cell number right there. And it's let's see, what's today? Friday. I don't know what time you get off today.
I'm off today.
Okay, so call me about between 6 and 7 tonight.
Okay.
Okay, and we'll go over that from there. And you're the one who was considering the freight broker thing too,
right?
And you're just trying to find somebody else in the group that wants to consider going in on the 2-for-1 for you, right?
Correct.
Okay, so we just made an announcement, guys. If anyone else is interested in Freight Broker 101, we have someone. It's a 2-for-1, $399, 2-for-1. So 2 people can join for $399, $400. And Felicia is half of that person. If someone else is interested and want to go in half with Felicia, then you guys get with each other. Lita said I'll do it. So you guys exchange information, Lita and Felicia, and you guys go from there. You can type it in here now before we end it. Or privately, you guys can, you're able to privately send each other messages in this free conference call too. So Lita and Felicia can go ahead and do that. Let me finish answering the questions for Ms. Grove back up here. Oh yeah, Kendra said, explain TONU. The broker didn't tell me the load needed to be picked up by 3. So let me unmute you, Kendra, real quick, so I can get your feedback on that, so we can get some. Can you hear me now, Kendra? Kendra?
Okay. I hear you now.
Okay. So go ahead and
Okay. So we did the carrier packet. Am I echoing?
No, I hear you fine. You might be a little bit. I hear you.
Okay. So we did the carrier packet, and we thought we were getting the load, so the broker took so long. We finished the packet at 12:30. So we thought we were getting the load. But then I called back at 2:30 or maybe 3 o'clock. What's going on? Well, I called back earlier, but they said he's working on it. So I called back again at 2:30, 3 o'clock, and he said the load should have been picked up at 3. So I was thinking, because I just read on your 101 training about the TONU, which is truck ordered, not used.
Right. There's a fee that's paid. It's a percentage of the load. So say for example, it's 5% or 10% or whatever the number is. Let's say 5%. So the load was paying $2,000 gross. and the truck was ordered but not used, 5% of $2,000, they were supposed to give you $500, but they might say $250 or something like that. But your truck was not ordered because you just did the carrier packet. Just because you did the carrier packet doesn't mean that you're under that load. Until you sign the rate confirmation, that load is not booked. You can fill out the carrier packets all you want, but until that rate confirmation is signed, then that load is not assigned to you or to your carrier.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I knew I had to sign the carrier packet, but I was waiting on the carrier packet, and he never did send it.
It's a two-step process. So you call the broker, you go over the load, say, yeah, I'm interested in the load. They say, okay, it's still available. What email address do I need to send the carrier packet to so you guys can get set up with us? You give them your email address. They send it to you, either a link to a website to fill it out or a PDF to print out and fill out for your carrier. If you got permission from your carrier, let them do it themselves. You fill that out, send it back to the broker with W-9, MC authority, certificate of insurance, things like that. The broker's going to process the information into their TMS system or whatever, run it by their compliance team for approval. They'll say, okay, you guys can approve of this load. Let me produce a rate confirmation and send it to you. Once they send that rate confirmation to you, now you decide, you go over that with your carrier and say, okay, everything checks out on everything. If you were to sign the rate confirmation and send it back to the broker, and then the broker said, yeah, that load should have been picked up at 3, things like that, now it's the broker's fault because he should have expressed that more so to you before giving you that rate confirmation and you signing it. So now, once you sign the rate confirmation, the truck is ordered.
But I was waiting on the rate confirmation for 2 or 3 hours.
Right.
So I thought that because the driver was sitting and waiting on this rate confirmation that, okay, why, it's the broker's fault. But I understand that I needed to sign the rate confirmation sheet. I understand that, but
yeah. So some brokers are kind of slow in that process. But yeah, if I do a carrier packet with a broker and I send the carrier packet in to get processed, it shouldn't take no more than a half an hour for them to process the carrier packet. A good brokers. So after a half an hour, if they don't process it, I'm calling them back. What's going on? And if it's another 30 minutes, an hour, I'm like, look, I'm good. I'm moving on to another load. Because I'm not contracted with you anyway. I just sent back a carrier packet just to get set up with you guys. So, and that's nothing. I can get set up with 1,000 brokers. But until I get a rate confirmation and sign it, I'm not moving the load. So, but
right, I get that. But he kept saying it's your load. Don't worry, it's your load. But
right.
So I just thought maybe I should. Yeah.
He just lied to you.
Right.
Yeah,
he lied to you.
He lied to you because no broker's going to say it's your load. You can't. They're not going to hold a load for some, especially if they didn't get back the carrier packet and they haven't processed the carrier packet and saying that you're approved carrier, it's your load. That's a lie.
Okay.
So that's lie number 1 out of many. So, but yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But the truck order not use concept specifically is after you sign the rate confirmation and send it back, the broker, and this happened to me, the broker called. Talina said he was stringing you along for someone who would take it for less. That's exactly right. That's exactly what he was doing. But T.O.
And that's what I thought. And plus the guy was new. Like I said, he's only been driving for a month. So I figured he was stringing us along too.
Right. He wanted to get you set up, but then he was going to find somebody else more experienced and then go ahead and book it with them for a lesser amount. So that's what he was doing. But a truck order not used, if you was to sign a rate confirmation and send it back, and then the broker call you all of a sudden and say, hey, man, that load has been booked with someone else. Okay, well, go ahead. I'm going to invoice you for $250, TONU. Especially if it's in, read the carrier package too. Look for that in the carrier package. Do they offer TONU? That's an extra added incentive to consider for the load. If they offer, or mention it to the broker when you talking about the load. Do you guys do a truck order? Now, it's pretty standard. Do you offer a TONU? And so how much is it? They'll say up to $250. Okay, yeah. So that's basically because the broker just wasted carrier time. If you got a rate confirmation and then the carrier wasted their time driving to the shipper to pick the load up, only to get there and the load's already been picked up by another carrier. Well, I just burnt fuel and time. I could have been doing something else. So for that, you're going to pay me. So $250 is enough to cover that fuel and time. In the meantime, you could be looking for, as a dispatcher, another load for your carrier. So.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
All right. Let's see. Adam had a comment here. Adam said, hey, what are the few sales tactics to use? I know there's tricks that salesmen have to get customers to get in. Sales tactics? Adam, can you unmute yourself? You mean sales tactics as it relates to getting a carrier under agreement, or sales tactics as it relates to getting more money from the broker when you're trying to book a load for your agreed upon carrier? Okay, so as getting a carrier under agreement, the sales tactics, that's what you're asking? Okay. Honesty. Basically, you're basically saying, you know, are you under a load or looking for a load? You can use one of those pitches. How much money you need to move your truck? Let them know the good sales tactics is that as a dispatcher working for you, we're not taking money out of your pocket. And be honest with them that don't say I can guarantee you this, but say in most cases we negotiate another rate to cover our percentage that we're going to charge you, whether it's between 5 and 10%. Let them know that it's coming out the broker side when we renegotiate the rate. And then give them an example. Give them a concrete example that you understand too. Like if you charge 10%, give a nice number. Like if we find a load that's $3,000, 10% of that is $300. So we'll go back to the broker and say, okay, we want that load for this carrier, but instead of $3,000, we want to do it for $33, you know, or more, $3,300, $3,400. And then let them know, like, see what we just did there. We just added our $300 on top of your $3,000 from the broker side. We negotiated that rate and booked that load. Now, and then say, I'm going to be honest with you, Mr. Carrier, that for most of the time it works, but there are cases where it won't work. In cases where it does not work, I will still call you and ask you, this is the rate, and do you still want to consider that rate at least? That way you're showing your carrier that you're being upfront with them honestly, and you're building a trusting relationship. You understand? Don't just lie to them. So, because carriers they'll sense that too. But if you're honest and direct with them, they'll be honest and direct with you. Okay? All right. Any more questions or comments? Okay, yeah, I knew you didn't mean that as far as you didn't mean lying, but when they're hesitant and it takes that extra push. Yeah, how do I lead the convo to go in my favor if they're hesitant? Yeah, go back and watch some of those live carrier calls that I did where there was carriers who were kind of leaning toward going one way and there were certain things that were said kind of pushed them the other way. So, you know, it's a case-by-case basis. You kind of feel them out in the conversation depending on the equipment type and your level of understanding of how those equipment types run. That's why it's good to get basics down, the basics. So, okay. I think any other questions is after 1 o'clock, but any other questions or comments? Of course, those who are tuning in who wants to join, not Freight Broker 101, I guess some people who are interested in that, but I don't think there's any guests on this call, so, but it's a recording, so I'm going to even mention it. If you want to join, go to the website, www.exodusdispatchingandtraining.com, Dispatcher 101 training, enroll, and then go from there. And any questions, I can be reached, of course, 757-515-1684, or through the website, the Contact Us portal. So, and go from there. So, all right, guys, until Monday, guys, have a good weekend. Enjoy your weekend. I'm going to focus probably on, go back to the basics as far as carrier searches, maybe call some carriers, do some pitches for at least 3 equipment types, the 3 main equipment types, the dry vans, flatbed, and reefers. I might do that twice. So I may call 6 carriers in a 2-hour time frame, at least 3 of them in the 2 hours, and then we just review. You know how we do. We vet out the carriers, look at their MC numbers, make sure they're good, call them, and then go from there. And if any other questions you can think of over the weekend, just reach out to me and go from there. All right? Somebody got a comment? All right. Did you learn it? Everything's good, Kendra? Everything's good? Are you getting it down? I just hope Dispatcher 101 is helping those with the basics. Hopefully my teaching strategy is effective for you guys, where I actually call brokers live. You actually get to hear conversations with brokers, and then how you guys can tweak that for your specific business, how you talk to them and begin to learn that process. The same thing applies to how you talk to carriers. You tweak that for your business and how you can apply and get carriers under agreement and go from there. So, all right, guys, enjoy your weekend. And until Monday, I think Calvin canceled his class for Saturday. So see you guys Monday, 11 o'clock a.m. to 1 p.m. So, all right, guys, have a good weekend. Talk to you later.